brought Canada's 3 most dreadful motorists here to Montreal for their final ever driving test. Who will succeed, and who will be forever known as Canada's worst driver? Heather's next. If it all goes smoothly, she'll be driving 19 kilometers while taking 28 turns. But I doubt it's going to go smoothly. And we're off.
Whoa, Heather.
Whoa.
Not an auspicious
So
start.
be super careful, my dear. We're all good. So you're going to turn right onto this one. This is St. Paul. Be careful of the pedestrians and everything, of course.
Heather's eyesight will be her biggest hurdle on this drive. I'll tell her what streets to look for, but I won't point out the signs.
No metal on metal, Heather.
Pedestrians are wary of Montreal traffic, but they're especially wary of this absurd automobile. Our defense mechanism is working. People look out for Heather as much as Heather looks out for them.
You're fine. You don't need to look at the front of your car. You can look straight down the road. Think of what Scott Marshall would tell you.
Aside from the jerky start, Heather is driving very well. Stiffly and methodically, but correctly. She even signals and turns around a double-parked car while checking her blind spot.
You're doing great so far. You got a big green light, and you got a lot of pedestrians waiting. Aren't they nice?
Several episodes ago, we showed Heather some standard road signs, and she only knew what 20% of them meant. So, it's not surprising she's already forgotten what a green arrow means in Montreal.
And that's illegal.
Now I'm getting nervous. Then Heather defies my expectations and manages this tricky merging maneuver.
Like a pro.
In the back seat, Ernie has been speechless for quite a while now.
Your next instruction is to go right on Saint-Denis.
Rolling forward, Ernie pipes up.
Red light, Heather.
Okay, I'm not pulling up.
Heather's forgetting you can't turn right on a red light here.
Okay, Heather, you gotta listen to your husband. That was a red light that you just turned right on. Yes, ma'am, that's a very illegal moving violation in this part of the world.
Heather's next turn is a left. She can't read the sign coming, but she does see a turn, so she cuts off an SUV. When she realizes it's not her turn, she swerves back out to the right. And then to the left.
My car's scared.
Heather survives the streets of Montreal, and more importantly, the streets of Montreal survive Heather.
Nothing to it. Give me your kiss. Don't hold your head. Oh. You've never ever driven in a city this big?
No.
And?
Well, since I thought it was. I think I could probably do it again.
Want to?
No.
Heather knows her limitations, which is some help behind the wheel, but not much. Is she Canada's worst driver? Chris is next.
So, Chris, this is our charge. We're going to drive around the streets of Old Montreal. If this course gets done exactly properly, it'll take about 45 or 50 minutes. First instruction is to take a right on St. Paul.
This is pretty much a sensory overload for Chris. Before arriving at the rehab center, Chris had never sat behind the wheel of a car 2 days in a row. Now, he's finally into the rhythm of driving, but Montreal has a beat all of its own.
Okay, buddy, I was patient.
After a little stutter, Chris settles down. Even when he comes across other bad drivers, he keeps his cool.
That's a piece of creative driving method.
I'm loving that.
Chris is confidently keeping up with big city traffic, and he's staying calm around pedestrians.
May I make an observation? Yes. After 8 weeks in the driver's rehabilitation center, you seem more comfortable here in Montreal during rush hour than you did on an obstacle course all alone when you first got to the rehab center. True. That is true? True. You're more comfortable here in rush hour.
We're headed up Mount Royal now, and the next turn is a left.
Whoa. This time.
It's not the smoothest ride ever, but Chris gets us up to the lookout without missing a single turn. There's been no moving violations and no freakouts. Wow.
You know, to be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised. He's doing well, he's not doing very well, but compared to the rest of the bad drivers, he's doing very well. I didn't hear that. It's good.
Pulling back out into the thick of things, Chris shows us how far his reversing has come since that time he was stuck for 45 minutes in a simple driveway. He looks like the poster boy for stress, but his driving is error-free.
Good move. That is correct. Your next instruction is to turn right on Saint-Denis.
But that's his left blinker. Does Chris know where he's going?
That's right. He's waiting. Okay, your instruction there was to go right on Saint-Denis, so you went left.
Chris turns onto a 4-lane thoroughfare, heading in the wrong direction. Irrationally, he decides the best way to get back is to turn left into the oncoming traffic.
This is going to be tricky.
But to keep traffic flowing, left turns aren't allowed on Saint-Denis.
You've gone about 2 kilometers past where you had to turn back.
After 8 no-turning signs in a row, Chris suddenly realizes he should turn right.
Not good. Yeah, you might want to check your blind spot before you start making a turn. Yeah. Oh, that was a cop. Especially into a cop.
By the time Saint-Denis sort of peters out, Chris still hasn't turned.
Well, this doesn't look very smart either.
Instead of pulling a quick U-turn, Chris goes in to explore.
Where is this going? This is going into a bus turnaround. Oh, well. Is there a bus following me? No, there isn't. Oh, there's a giant do not enter sign that says, unless you're a bus, don't come in here. You just drove under.
Oh. All Chris has to do now is go straight ahead through the turnaround. But he opts for a 3-point turn, which could lead to a showdown.
Okay, that was curious.
Why would you do that, baby?
Probably should have followed around, seeing that this is one way and here comes a bus. Okay, get ready for excitement.
Undaunted, Chris hits the gas, while my anxiety levels hit an all-time high.
I might not have done it that way.
Chris pulls over to regroup. He's clearly in the danger zone.
The street I just turned off of, which was Saint-Denis, and then just continue past Montreal where I was supposed to make that right.
The breather works. Chris calms down enough to drive us back to the street where it all went so horribly wrong.
Okay, back on track.
Michelle sees an orange light and tries to warn Chris. But Chris is missing all the signs.
Okay, man, you're blowing a red light. You just blew through a red light. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's not good, Chris.
I'm not supposed to let the driver smell my fear, but I stink at concealing it.
Street sign, where is it? Come on.
Then Chris misses another turn.
Well, hopefully that was it.
To get back on track, he senselessly pulls into a hospital parking lot.
No, the street you were just on is a one-way. Hey, you're going to just go back onto it the same way.
Oh, that's right here.
Which brings us to our second head-to-head showdown with a bus.
I seem to have this thing with buses today.
Well, that was certainly pointless. When Chris gets to his final turn, he cuts off a driver who gestures at us.
Sorry.
I don't think he's saying that Chris is number one. If I have to pretend like I'm not afraid for much longer, I'm going to explode.
Those checker flags are for you, sir. Pull them in.
Chris started out well, then something just snapped. I'm ready for a beer and a taxi, and Michelle doesn't know whether to laugh or cry.
I'm pleasantly surprised with the things that he has really learned and taken to heart. He's done very well. The rest of them are still pretty frightening.
Thank you very much, Chris. Congratulations. We made it home alive.
All right.
That a wrap?
Not a chance. The final judgment is still to come. After the break, we will name Canada's worst driver.
Think a thick cream is the only way to firmer looking skin? Challenge the need for such heavy measures with Olay. New Regenerous Microsculpting Serum for firmer looking skin in 5 days. Pretty heavy lifting for such a lightweight. Olay Regenerous.
Okay, a quick show of hands. How many people here have recently checked their tire pressure? I thought so. If your tires are underinflated, your car's engine has to work harder to get it moving, and that uses more gas. With properly inflated tires, the average Canadian driver will save about 2 weeks worth of gas use a year. Less gas use means less exhaust emissions, and that means less of an impact on the environment. Drop by Sydney Tire, and we'll make sure your tires are properly inflated. You save gas, and we all get cleaner air.
That's the kind of thing that I think is going to put people over the edge. Give us your feedback. What do you think? Straight Talk. Murray Langdon, weekdays 10 to noon on CFAX 1070. No. Let the other stations chase the old news. We bring you the most up-to-date information every day. Straight Talk. Afternoons with Adam Sterling. Weekdays 3 to 6 on CFAX 1070.
I first started taking Airborne because it helps support your immune system. Airborne contains antioxidants for the maintenance of good health, which is always a good idea.
Sit here.
It has a blend of vitamins and minerals.
Daddy, me, Snake.
Did I mention it supports your immune system?
Airborne helps support your immune system with a special blend of zinc, ginger, echinacea, and 13 other vitamins, minerals, and herbs, plus a blast of vitamin C.
Available in Canada.
Try Airborne, the one invented by a school teacher.
Remember when you were a child and they said, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you? The fact of the matter is, the wrong words can hurt you and your claim. It's tough enough to deal with your injuries, let alone semantics. I devote all my time to helping people involved in motor vehicle accidents. Do you need help? We have been helping people through the injury claims process for over 30 years. My name is Tom Spraggs. For more information, please visit asktom.ca.
Always Infinity. With its revolutionary material, it adapts more, absorbs more, and bounces back more than that other pack, helping to make all of your period worries disappear. Just like magic. Always Infinity. Change your period experience forever.
Is your skin's fate inevitable and transforming the look of it an impossible dream? With Olay, challenge what's possible. Challenge luxury creams, even a $500 cream. Olay Regenerist outperformed them. With Olay Pro X, challenge the belief that only skin specialists can give you noticeable skincare results. And challenge 7 visible signs of aging all in one with Olay Total Effect. Love how you see yourself and feel about yourself more than you dreamed possible. With Olay, challenge what's possible.
Our team of experts has been holed up here in the Driver Rehabilitation Center for the last 8 episodes. Tonight, their final task will be choosing which of our 3 remaining drivers is Canada's worst.
Well, it's been kind of interesting every time we've sequestered ourselves like this to figure out who we're going to graduate, but today it's an especially big deal because the person who doesn't graduate is Canada's worst driver.
Well, I don't know that second and third place are necessarily stuff to be that proud of, and I have to say that given that this was their final series of challenges, it's all 3 of them making the same mistakes they made in the very first episode.
He gives up so completely, so utterly. Like, this was with the final exams, and he just kind of gets, puts up his hands, and you can just see the sense of failure and the sense of utter, hopelessness.
Well, let's segue into Heather, because she also made some fairly egregious errors in Montreal, but she seemed to be able to recover.
Right now, Madalena is not at the position where she can recognize that even if she has bad influence, she needs to still make correct decisions.
I gave all the candidates lessons in driving in Old Montreal and wanted to get Madeleina's eyes further ahead and make early decisions. I said, what do you see well ahead? She pointed out 2 stores that had sales.
In Chris's defense, I'll say that I think with him it's an experience issue more than anything else.
Well, talking about driving the attitude, awareness, and ability, Heather has the best attitude, and probably no worse than tied for worst in terms of pure ability. Madeleine has probably the best eyesight and best vision, but she's got by far the worst attitude. And Chris has no awareness whatsoever and not much ability, but his attitude too is a little better. So we've got, they're all bad for different reasons.
Tough choice. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to figure this out.
All 3 are horrible drivers, but now we need to whittle it down to 2. This hunk of junk trophy is made up of just a few of the perfectly good car parts that were destroyed this semester at the Driver Rehabilitation Center. In just a few short moments, I'm going to shackle this piece of hardware to the soul of Canada's worst driver. But before I hand out the goods, let me just say this. 3 of you people have made dramatic improvements since getting here, but what happened in Montreal was simply inexcusable. Madalena, you showed up for your final road test without even bothering to learn what the traffic lights in Quebec mean. Not too bright. And Chris, you almost sideswiped. A uniformed police officer van in an unmarked car, and luckily though, you were driving a vehicle so ridiculous that he was too embarrassed to pull you over. Heather, when you did your final exam here at the rehab center, you ran into half of what you could see and more of what you couldn't. So imagine how surprised I was when you pulled into the streets of Montreal and you didn't get anything.